Time to go racing. Very pro clubs rivalry going on in the chat. Don't think there's any rivalry at all, to be honest. Think we're streets ahead, in all honesty. Right then, short quali tonight. Another full grid, honestly. Another full grid, but 8 rounds in. It's not often you see full grids towards the end of the season, but here in the VDL Racing League, things are different. Things are different. You get a full grid. You get a full grid. Who is going to be the first car on the circuit? Let's bring up telemetry, lap data, track map, and then get rid of that. Cold Steel! Cold Steel is here. Unfortunately for Cold Steel, he was the first reserve on standby this evening, so didn't quite manage to get himself a seat. But he is here in the stream. We're pleased to have him in the VDL Racing League. He is a great addition. Appreciate you tuning in, Steel. Really do. And for what I feel is the third week in a row, .amt is the first car out on the circuit. This man loves to get out that pit lane rapid. So let's see. Kragner? Kragner? Kragner's retired. Not entirely sure what's happened to Kragner there. He's retired, leaving the pit lane. Has he hit the wall? Does anybody know? Does anyone know what has happened to Kragner? I have not a clue. Not a Scooby. Anyway, he's going to be starting last, providing that everybody sets a lap time. Yeah. We'll see what he can do from 20th position. One thing's for certain, Mitch will not be qualifying in P20. As long as he sets the time, of course. So, migrating host? Chaz has left the session? Oh my word. What is going on? What? I think we're going. I think we're still fine. So Scott MT is going to start his first fly. Only 65% battery as he crosses the line into turn one. Long corner. Long corner is turn one, and it is just full throttle. Should be full throttle around turn two as we head onto the first DRS straight of the lap. Didn't leave at a bad time like in Singapore. I know, Chaser. That honestly, that timing could not have been worse in Singapore. It was horrendous and caused us so many headaches, believe me. Believe me. Chaz is in the chat. Does he need an invite? Let's ping him an invite. Invite sent, Chaz. Right then, Scotty MC through the middle sector then. Of course, the wings around here, I can pretty much guarantee everybody will be running 0-0 wings. So that middle sector might be a little bit tricky with a little bit of understeer. But you need the low wings for this straight here, especially the long straight with DRS as well. Venus Vex 24, thank you very much for the follow. Appreciate you tuning into the stream this evening for the very first time. Spot your breaking point, Scotty, for turns 11 and 12. That is very, very deep indeed. Wowza. That is going to cost him all sorts of lap time. And now is a straight run to the line. This kink here, it's not really a turn, it's more of a kink. To the line, and Scotty is going to set a 31.804 in the hat. Mitch goes P2 with a 33.0 Pro. Puts his Ferrari in between the two. 32.7 for Pro. Kragner, Calvin goes provisional pole with a 31.306. Kragner needs an invite. I'm not sure if I've got Kragner, you know. I don't have him, so I can't invite him. Hopefully somebody else in the lobby does have him. As VDL, Brad goes provisional pole. First man into the 1 minute 30s, a 30.91 for the man in the Racing Bull. Super Striker is P2 currently in the McLaren. 3/10 off the pace though. 3/10 off VDL Brad. So that is looking like a pretty solid opening lap time for Brad. Let's see how it holds up through the rest of the session. Who else is on a flyer? Imi in the Red Bull is about to cross the line. Where can he put his car? Goes into P7. Respectable lap time of 32.29 for Imi in the Red Bull. Bergen in the Mercedes, not on a flyer. Brash, last week's race winner, of course, absolutely demolished everybody around Brazil last week. Brilliant performance from him. Was very unlucky to miss out on my driver of the day. That went to ENT Paris, I believe, in the Aston Martin for his defensive masterclass in keeping Scotty MT at bay. But here comes Brash then towards the end of the DRS straight. Spot your braking points. Keep a little bit of battery in reserve for the run through the line. That looked pretty neat and tidy for the Ferrari. Rear wing does not open because it's not a DRS straight. Silly me. Burning the last of his battery as he crosses the line. And Brash goes provisional pole by half a tenth. A 1 minute 30.86. Exactly half a tenth clear of VDL Brad, who is just diving into the pit lane. Atmos is currently in P6 in his Aston Martin, a 31.786 for him. Decent time for Atmos there. Who is on a flyer? Kevin is on a flyer in the Mercedes. Where can he put his car? Mercedes, of course, discussed it earlier on, propping up the Constructors' Championship currently. But Kevin's got pace. Kevin is a fast driver as the Sauber of either Milan or Hazard moves out of his way. Rear wing open on that Mercedes, not flipping upside down, which you may see in real life on the Ferrari this weekend in China. Interesting concept for Ferrari. Let's see if it works. Nice and smooth through the final chicane for Kevin, and it is just a mad dash to the line. What is he going to do? He goes P8, 32.2. He's definitely got more time in him than that. 100% he has got more time in that lap. Is there anyone else on a flyer? Imad, I think, is on a flyer. Yes, Chaser, the Macarena wing. I did see this afternoon it was being referred to as the Macarena wing. I love it. I absolutely love it. Loved it when I saw it in testing. I think it is so cool. Even if it turns out it doesn't gain them much, I love to see that sort of innovation. It's super cool, and it looks great. It looks really great. Hopefully, it will help Ferrari close that gap to the Mercedes this weekend, because let's be real, Mercedes were in a different league last weekend. So let's hope it is a little bit closer. Obviously, with just the one practice session and a sprint weekend, things could be interesting at China. But Imad is coming towards the end of the back straight. He's almost entirely out of battery. In fact, he's running a none as he heads through the chicane. This is going to hurt him a little bit. Deploy used, so he is going to be slower than a slow thing, as Martin Brundle might say, on his run to the line. Ticks into the 1 minute 30s, the 31s and the 32s, but he goes into P10 for the Racing Bulls. Who else is on a flyer? Last week's driver of the day, Paris in the Aston Martin, ran super low wings last week. Will definitely be running super low wings this week around Vegas. Currently P19 as Milan goes up into P3, half a tenth off Brad and 1/10 off Ben Brash. Paris is going to cross the line and he puts his Aston Martin up into P9. Very tight route around that final corner with a kink, really, for Paris. So decent time from him. Hazard is in P10 for the sister Sauber. Of course, Sauber are in a constructors title fight with those Racing Bulls of Brad and Imad. So he needs a really good performance tonight for Hazard. And he has been putting in strong performances for the last few weeks. So I'm really excited to see what Hazard can do this evening. Chaz Knight Rider is back in the session, and he is on his very first time lap here in this qualifying session in Las Vegas. In the Alpine, he's had an up and down season, a better week last week, I think, if I remember correctly. But of course did miss a few races during the season. Good evening, close at the top. It is close at the top. Brash was really good last week, and half a tenth separating himself and Brad, and another half tenth separating Milan as well. And there's still one or two that could find themselves up there. Don't rule Armin out from putting himself up there just yet. Yellow flags up ahead of Chance. Hopefully that is not going to put him off too much. Does have a Ferrari in front of him, but shouldn't really affect him. Takes an awful lot of curb there. That might not give him the optimum exit, but he does have plenty of battery on the run to the line, very close to the wall on the right hand side there. Flicks his Alpine into the left, crosses the line, and he goes up into P7 just behind his teammate Famas Wayne by 3.5 tenths. So both Alpines in the top 8 in 7th and 8th positions. Who is on a flyer that Armin plays? He's gone into P6. So a couple of cars separating himself from his title rivals Milan and Brad. But the good news for Armin is that it is Brash out in front. Top 4 is very close. It is very close indeed, Hilly, with Calvin now going up there as well. Yeah, all 4 drivers in the 1 minute 30s. Brash the only man to push into the 30.8s. So Brad, Milan and Calvin have got work to do if they want to steal that provisional pole position away from the Ferrari of Brash. Scotty MT is on his second flyer. He is around about just shy of a tenth faster during that first sector. So let's stay on board with him. In fact, let's go to this camera view. Through the middle sector. Of course, this is where you can gain or lose an awful lot of time, with the rest of the track pretty much just being straight lines. And on, oh my word, that was so close to the wall. Onto the back straight for the Haas of Scotty MT. He is 3.5 tenths up. This is looking like a strong lap time for Scotty MT, currently in 10th place. As Brash improves, that is a monstrous lap from Ben Brash. A 1 minute 30.7. He is 2 tenths clear of Brad and P2 now. Consider that a statement made by Brash. Please excuse Basson and Rump the bell sniffs, says Hilly. Couldn't have put it better myself as Scotty MT goes into P7. I mean, it's what it is. It is what it is. It's more viewers for us, so yeah. So Scott MT goes into P7. Thomas Wayne on a flyer. Yes, he is. No, he's not. Surely he's not on a flyer with only 20% battery left here. We'll stay on board with him for just a moment, but he's going to be very slow in the final sector if this is the case. As he's coming up, it's only a medium, coming up towards the back straight now. Okay, he's 2 seconds down on his PB, so not a representative lap time for Famas Wayne. Ben's turned into a demon recently. Tuxis has thrown some crazy pace just before Christmas. He's been putting in some unbelievable lap times here. He really has. Super Striker is up in P2 currently at 30.872. Is this another flyer? No, it's not. It is not another flyer. But Super Striker up onto the front row. Brad has got his work cut out. Can't wait to punch Reeve in the face tomorrow at work. You shit out of luck, Rob, because I'm not in work tomorrow. So, you might struggle with that one. Or slap him with a fish. Again, you have to come to my house, mate, because I'm not at work. So, good luck. Milan then, currently P4 in the Sauber, could really do with scoring big points tonight. He needs to make up, I think it's around 20 points on Brad and Armin. Is that right? That is right. So he could really do with a win, really. And Brad and Armin finishing further down the order. Onto the back straight for him. Currently P4, 30.96. Not improving. He's half a second down. half a second down on his personal best currently. I wonder if he is going to abandon this lap and come into the pits. Quimo says, Famas and Calvin have set the same lap time? Oh my word, they have. You are not wrong. You are not wrong, Quimo. Calvin and Wayne have both set a 30.984. Calvin must have set that lap time first, as he is ahead of Famas Wayne, as Milan does, as expected, dive back into the pit lane. Let's hop on board with his teammate. Hazard currently in P13 with a 32 flat. I think this may be his last qualifying lap, unless he's going to do what his teammate has done and dive into the pit lane. Excuse me. Through the final chicane, 22% battery to the line. Yeah, this is going to be his last lap. He's not coming into the pit lane, so he is going to finish it. Can he improve on a 32.0? Yes, he can, by nearly 4 tenths, and puts himself up into the top 10. P9 for Hazard. So Sauber looking handy around here. Anybody on a flyer? Speechy. We'll go on board with Speechy. His teammate Scotty MT currently P7. Speechy down in P16 with a 32.4. He will be looking to improve. Maybe he could challenge that top 10. But he is going to run out of battery again on the run to the line. And there it goes. He crosses the line. P11. 6.5 tenths improvement for Speechy. Solid lap time. And again, he has set the same lap time as Chaz Knight Rider. A 31.762. So for the second time this evening, we've got two drivers setting identical lap times. Wow, unbelievable. And now we have a lot of cars about to start their final flies. We're going to go on board with Mitch in the McLaren. He's been practicing hard. He's currently P19 with a 33.0. Needs to find 3 tenths at least to improve his starting position. Frank says Hazard has been proper solid all season. One of my drivers of the season. Hazard's performances in recent weeks have been really, really strong. I can't remember where it was. I think it may have been Singapore, where he was really, really good. Really good. And I feel like that was his first proper improvement in terms of race pace. Definitely a man who has improved as the season has gone on. Right then, through the middle sector for Mitch, there are yellow flags up ahead of him, and all sorts of drivers are starting their final flying laps. Hazard is in the pit lane, so that is his qualifying over and done with. Mitch is going to run out of battery at the start of the back straight. This is going to hamper his lap time an awful lot, but I believe he was the first car to start their final flying run. So we'll stick with him. He's in hot lap mode, he's just clipped the wall, and now he's lifted. Okay, he's not going to improve on his lap time, I don't think, as he heads into the final chicane. A 33.0 for Mitch. He's not going to improve on that. So P19 it is going to be. Brash is a 10.5 up. No, he can't be a 10.5 up. He's not finished the first sector yet. We will keep an eye on the cars crossing the start-finish line. We have an Aston Martin of Atmos, 2.5 tenths up on his previous best. Currently P12 with a 31.786. Where can he put himself? Stays in P12, improves by 2 tenths, but does not gain any positions. Next up, we have the Red Bull of BRD Calvin. This is a man who usually likes to run the white liveried Red Bull. Tonight, he is in the classic navy blue, and he's currently P5. Where can he put his Red Bull? P2! Half a tenth off Ben Brash. P2 for him. Super Striker next across the line from P3. Goes provisional pole! A 30.65. He is half a tenth clear of Ben Brash, who is going down the back straight as we speak. Scott MT, he is on an invalidated lap time. Armin is going to be the next driver to cross the line. Nearly 2 tenths up. Can he improve on P8? No, he can't. Does improve his lap time, but not by enough. Paris next in the Aston Martin. P13 to P13. Ben Brash crosses the line, doesn't improve. Stays in second place, albeit with a purple last sector. Milan to the line, stays in P5 one by one. They are falling away, and it looks for all the world like Super Striker is going to take pole And that is the case. Super Striker with a super lap in the McLaren. A 30.652. Half a tenth clear of Brash. A tenth clear of Calvin. That is a fantastic lap time from the man in the McLaren. Brad says there's so much time to find in his laps. He bottled both runs. Dear oh dear, P5 for Brad. The good news for him though is that he is ahead of Armand in the Williams. That is big news. Big news as far as the Drivers' Championship goes. Milan says, I'm ahead of my rivals, but I bottled 3/10. 3/10 would have put you on pole position, Milan. So possibly an opportunity gone for Milan. I'm expecting DRS trains tonight. I'm also expecting a safety car or two. So let's see what happens there. Milan is on some generational hate watch. He's hate watching whilst driving in the same race. Is Milan. I could say a super lap. I did say a super lap, Frank. Come on. But there we go, confirmed Super Striker on pole position. Is that the best place to be around Vegas? I don't know. Ben Brash will join him on the front row in the Ferrari. Calvin P3, an all-British front three even. Milan P4 with Brad in P5. Famas Wayne with a great lap in P6. Scotty MT P7, Armand P8, Chaz P9 and Paris rounds out the top 10. Hazard dropped to P11 in the end. Speechy P12 with Atmos in 13th. Imi in 14th, Bergen 15th, Kevin in 16th, Mercedes struggling once again, Imad down in 17th, Pro 18th, Mitch in 19th, and Kragnar retired very early days and will start in final place. Milan says, top 9, let's have a look at the tyres. Now, before I bring up the tyres, I'm going to make a prediction. I'm going to predict that everybody is on the mediums. That's my prediction. Motherfuckers. Atmos, what do you think you're doing? In the Aston Martin, P13. Of course it would be P13. Unlucky. Is the only driver not on the medium tyres. Damn it. Hard tyres for Atmos. Everybody else on the mediums. Frank says, today is the day that Brad finishes on the podium. I can feel it. Well, I also feel it. I also feel it. Brad is going to be on the podium tonight. Might be a 2-stop. Milan? From my experience, I would 1-stop Vegas. But, of course, safety cars are reasonably likely around here. In that tight middle sector. So, let's wait and see. Let's wait and see. Striker's on pole. Striker put in a fabulous lap attack. 30.6, half a tenth clear of Brash he was. So, a really good lap time from Striker. Right, let's sort this out because I always forget to do this before the race starts. Position change. That's what we want on lap 1. Crazy to beat Brash. Must have been a great lap. It was. Yeah, really quick. A 30.6. Imad's left the session. Oh my god. Oh my god. Imad. I don't have Imad either. Oh no. Imad's not going to be able to get back in. Oh god. Oh, dearie me. Who's this at the back? Kragnar going very slowly. Ben's race pace is unreal. It is. But, as I say, Vegas, I'm expecting some DRS trains to form tonight. Maybe even just one. Just one long DRS train. Imad's back in the session, so that's good news. As they are lining up on the grid, we are just awaiting Kragnar. He is back in the lobby. His car is still ghosted. I think he should be able to take control of his car once the race is underway. So at least he's at the back and he won't lose any positions from doing so. They can join through the original invite. Yeah, it's cool. So Imad is back in as well. Hazard and Mitch have both failed to park their cars properly. As we just wait Kragnar to pull into his grid box. There we go. Right then. Round 8 of 9. The penultimate round. The title can be won tonight, but the chances are slim. 5 red lights. And we are racing here in Vegas. Ben Brash looked like he got a really good getaway, but Striker is going to hold on to that lead. Brash around the inside, Calvin around the outside, and here comes Milan up around the outside of BRD. Calvin into turn 2, but Calvin holds on to that position for now. The top 9 are as you were. Meanwhile, we have yellow flags, and that is for Imad, who is out on lap 1, and we have a virtual safety car on the very first lap. So perfect time to take a breath and have a quick look through. The top 9 are as you were. No positions changed. Chaz left the session again. Oh my days. Imad, Chaz even, sorry, I was reading the chat. Imad is out. What happened, Imad? What happened on lap 1? VSC is still active. So top 9 are as you were. Imi has had a great start. Up 4 positions into P10. Fantastic start for him. Hazard is still there in P11. Who else has had a bad start? Atmos has had a bad start. He's down 4 places. Of course, started on those hard compound tyres. Oh, the game didn't let him get control of the car. No way. No way. Imad has been absolutely screwed. Oh, man. That is so unfortunate. That is unfortunate, man. I'm really sorry, mate. I am really sorry. Virtual safety car is still active. I feel like it may be coming to an end. It is. There you go. Green flag conditions once again then. And Super Striker is going to lead us towards the end of the first lap. What is going on down here? As an Aston Martin. Oh, my word. He's round. And he's facing the wrong way. That is Paris, last week's driver of the day. And he is going to plummet down to P19, contact with another car. I can't remember which one it was though. But he has dropped all the way to the back. Speechy also in the pit lane for the Haas team. And he must have some sort of wing damage. What a shame for those 2 drivers. Race is ruined. They will be hoping for a safety car at some stage. Meanwhile, Super Striker is going to lead us around the second lap. And this is what I was talking about. Look, oh my word. Oh my word. That Milan was just having a little look at Calvin there. And this is going to be a long DRS train here from Super Striker all the way down to Armin in P8. Excuse me. They are all within DRS range of each other. Are we going to see anyone burning their battery to try and get any early overtakes done? They're all running in none, charging up the battery because they know this is where they need to use it. The DRS detection point is there. And Brash was just about within the 1 second of Super Striker. Rear wing open on that Ferrari and will close that gap down to less than a second. Ski, I've never realised that in your stream it says what ERS mode they're on at the bottom. It does indeed, yeah, it does. It's great, isn't it? It's great. I have all that I need. All that I need as we come around to start lap 3. Quimo needs an invite. I believe Quimo must have been spectating because he's not racing. So Quimo must have been spectating. Right then, top 8 are still as you were. Armin in P8. Where is Brad? Brad is P5, part of this long DRS train. And yeah, this is exactly what I was expecting, to be honest. A long DRS train. And not too much overtaking going on as Paris retires in the pit lane in the Aston Martin. We saw him have that spin on the previous lap. And he must have picked up some wing damage, either front or rear wing damage, and he retires from the race. Good evening, Destructive J, with a cheeky little sunflower emoji there. Pleasure to see you in the stream, buddy. Love having you here. Thank you very much for tuning in. That is the DJ. That is the DJ. Right. Can Brash get close enough to Super Striker to go for an overtake? He's got DRS. He's got double the battery than the McLaren man in front. Is he going to go for it? Oh, this is going to be super close. He's having a look. He thought about it and decides that, oh my word, that was an awful entry for Brash. And that is giving Super Striker a bit more breathing space. And Calvin now has a sniff at P2. He's in the slipstream of the Ferrari, but doesn't quite have enough battery to be aggressive enough and go for the overtake, and they have all rinsed their batteries. Calvin still having a look at that Ferrari rear wing, but I think Brash is going to have him covered. No overtaking once again as we move on to lap 4, and the top 8 have now broken away from Hazard, who is in P9 on his own, 4.5 seconds shy of Armin in P8, and Chaz a further 2.4 seconds further back in P10. Bergen's had a cracking opening few laps. He is up 4 places from 15th up into 11th, and he's got Chaz Knight Rider firmly in his sights as they head through the middle sector. We're going to stay on board with the Mercedes as well, because I feel like we might just see an overtake on the back straight very shortly indeed. Might have to hop back to the front 3 though, because the gaps are coming down very, very quickly out there. In fact, we are going to go back to it, because Ben Brash is less than 4 tenths behind the McLaren of Super Striker. Brash is going to burn his battery, so is Super Striker. But Brash is now going to get the added aid of opening up that rear wing. He's in the slipstream of Striker as well. As we head towards the braking zone, there are yellow flags for a McLaren at the back. But Ben Brash dives down the inside, and he takes the lead of the race, moves himself up into P1. But Super Striker is going to come straight back at him, burning a little bit of battery, nearly gets alongside the Ferrari.
Through goes Hamilton!
Not so much through goes Hamilton, but through goes Brashman up into P1. But Super Striker is still right there as we head around turn 1. Of course, there is another DRS zone right here. Is Super Striker going to go for the overtake here? Yes, he is. Burns battery, and that is comfortable for Super Striker. But here comes Calvin. He moves up into P2, gets ahead of Brash, and he goes up the inside of Striker. Contact between the two. Front wing has come off for one of them. I'm not sure which one it was. Was it Brash? As he now goes up the inside of Calvin. Oh my word, these drivers are getting aggressive. They are fed up of sitting in this DRS train. But Brash has gone from P1 down to P3 in the space of the first sector. Does he have wing damage? Was it his front end plate that I saw fly off into the distance? Yes, it was. He is missing his front right end plate, is Ben Brash. That is going to hamper him specifically through the middle sector. Not so much in the final sector here. His straight line speed won't be affected too much at all. But that is going to hamper him through the middle sector. Be interesting what decision he makes when he pits. Does he change that front wing? Here comes Calvin on Super Striker into the braking zone. Tries to outbrake Striker. They're side by side. Golden rule number 1 for me personally. Don't go side by side through there. Either get the move done in the braking zone or don't do it at all. But they get through cleanly, and then top 3 are fighting so hard. Milan has got a perfect view of this. Just behind the Red Bull's round. Red Bull's round with Calvin. His bad luck strikes again, and he's losing positions like no tomorrow. He had contact there. I'm not sure with either Super Striker or Brash. But either way, Calvin drops down to P7. My, oh my, it was getting a little bit dull for the first few laps. But wow, these drivers are in no mood to sit in a DRS train. And Starm's Chaser makes a very good point. He says, look who's in P4. Look who's in P4 indeed. It is the Racing Bull, and it's VDL Brad in P4. Fortunately for him, we have 19 laps to go. I pray to God this man does not finish in P4 tonight. He may just lose it if he finishes in 4th once again. Anyhow, Striker is back into the lead of this race. He started on pole. He lost it briefly, but he is now back out in front. Brash is in P2, albeit with a damaged front wing. Frank says Calvin may be having wheel issues. Let's go on board with Calvin quickly. That's not Calvin, that's Armin. This is Calvin. Let's see how he is doing. He did say in the chat earlier on that he hopes his wheel holds up tonight because he's been putting in plenty of practice. Things look A-OK so far. Apart from that incident at turn 1 on the previous lap, things look alright. Things look alright for Calvin. He's still part of this lead train. We've got more yellow flags. Not sure who that was for towards the back. Maybe the other Red Bull of Imi. As Pro gets a 10-second penalty for speeding in the pit lane. So does Imi as well. Dear oh dear, it is a fast entry to the pit lane here. But you need to get your car slowed down. Unfortunately for Pro and Imi, they could not do that. So 10-second time penalties for them. And look, Ben Brash through the middle sector, struggling with his broken front wing, and Super Striker is seizing the opportunity to get himself out of DRS range of the Ferrari behind. 1.1 seconds the gap. Of course, the DRS detection point is not until halfway down the back straight, so there is time for Brash to make up that gap. Imad, I'm really sorry about how your race panned out this evening, sir. We'll see you again next week. Thank you for tuning in up until this point. Thank you very much. But Brash, DRS detection point, he's not within the 1 second, but who is? Milan, here he comes, gaining on the Ferrari, goes past the Ferrari. Milan is up into second place. We touched upon it earlier on, that Milan really needs a win tonight, but at the very minimum, he needs to heavily outscore Brad and Arman. And at the moment, a P2 with Brad just going up into P3 as Brash pits. Interesting decision for Brash. Oh, he picks up... No, he didn't. Scott AMT! Scott AMT picks up 10 seconds in the pit lane. Calvin is also into the pits as well. Is Ben Brash going to get his wing change? Yes, he is. You would expect that might be him out of the fight for the win this evening. But anyway, Milan is up into P2. And he is crucially within the 1 second of Super Striker in front, which is huge for Milan if he has designs on winning this race. Frank says Milan has nothing to lose and he is sending it. He absolutely is. And to get as close to Super Striker as he has already is super good. Super good from him. May even see an overtake from him this lap. I don't know. He's getting very close to the back of that McLaren. But those guys pitting at the end of lap 7 means they're hard tyres. I'm assuming they're on hard tyres. Yeah, they are. So I'm assuming those hard tyres, they've got to get them to the end. They'll be pretty worn out by the time we get towards the end of the race. You know what comes after Scott 10-sec pen, don't you, Ski? Yeah, usually means DNF the next lap. I was half expecting it during that pit stop, I can't lie. But Super Striker fends off the Sauber of Milan at the end of lap 8. Are these boys going to pit or do they go another couple of laps? Milan's going to come in. Milan is going to come into the pits. What does Brad do? He follows him in. What is Arman going to do? Where is he? There he is. He also comes in. So the top 3 in the championship all in the pit lane at the same time. Super Striker stays out. Thomas Wayne also stays out. Chaz also stays out as well. Of course, he can pit on the same lap as his teammate ahead. There is a big enough gap so that he doesn't get double stacked in that Alpine. He's holding off the Williams of Kragnar, who started last. Kragnar P4 on track at the moment. Might be a net P9 or P10, possibly. Don't know, but I feel like this is an impressive drive from Kragnar so far this evening. Where have these boys all fed out? Video Brad is just ahead of Calvin. So that may be a net P5 for Calvin, if I'm doing my workings out correctly. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Yeah, net P5 for Calvin. Scott MT is P10 on track currently, but of course he does have that 10-second time penalty. Arman has got a little bit of space in front. He needs to put his foot down and catch up to the back of Scotty MT. If he wants to score strongly tonight, he needs to get himself back in that DRS train, which he has been cut off from currently. Scotty MC in the slipstream of BRD Calvin down the back straight, burning his battery, opening his rear wing. Calvin has got a damaged front wing also. So we saw a damaged front wing for Ben Brash earlier. He opted to change it during his pit stop. Calvin has gone the other way. He has elected not to change his front wing, as we see a slow-moving Mercedes heading towards the pit lane there of Bergen. He comes into the pit lane gets his car slowed down on time. Super Striker, Van Swain, and Kragnar all staying out for another lap. This is the strategy I would do. I would do 10 on the medium and 15 on the hard. But some of these boys are much, much quicker than me. Super Striker especially. Much quicker than me. So who am I to tell them how to go about their strategy this evening? What I do know is that Milan is tucked up behind the Williams of Kragnar. Through the middle sector, this might hamper him a little bit. But certainly down the back straight, he's going to get DRS and more than likely get the overtake done, which will bring him back a little bit of time. And he's almost definitely going to undercut Super Striker here. Super Striker is heading down the back straight now. Milan and Kragnar heading towards that chicane towards the back straight, and Milan is going to absolutely fly by that Williams down this back straight. Don't play yourself down, Ski. You're a fast guy. I'm respectable. I'm not sure where I would fit in this particular grid, as Milan does overtake Kragnar and get himself up into third place. And Super Striker stays out for another lap. Maybe he's banking on a safety car here. He knows he's going to get undercut by Milan. And possibly Brad as well as what's going on here? What's going on here? They're 3 wide. And Scotty MT has overtaken Brad and Atmos and puts himself up into P4. And Scotty MT goes a little bit deep into turn 1. And the Aston Martin has a great view. We have yellow flags in the final sector. That is for the Mercedes of Kevin, who is going very slowly through the chicane. No safety car though. Super Striker would have been praying for a safety car. He's doing the PR response. I don't know where I'd fit into this grid, Frank. I really don't. I feel like I'd be... I mean, right now the grid is pretty mixed up. But in terms of like general pace in the grid, I feel like I'd probably be upper midfield, I'd say. Sort of in comfortably in the top 10. But I don't think I'd be fighting for podiums. I don't think. But yeah, Super Striker and Van Swain still out there on those medium compound tyres. I mean, there's got to come a stage where they bail out on this idea of a safety car, and they're going to have to pit. They're going to get undercut by quite a few drivers here. Super Striker is going to be the first man who has to make the decision. Is he going to stay out even further? He is. I was not expecting this. I was not expecting these medium runners to carry on to lap 12. If they do more laps, a few more laps, you're going to start to wonder whether they're doing a medium soft strategy. But look how much Wayne is struggling around that first corner. He is struggling so much for grip. And Milan is 6.5 seconds behind him, 6.4 now. Let's see how much time Milan takes out of Van Swain through the middle sector. He's taken out 4/10 in the space of me saying that alone. So he is catching that Alpine hand over fist. 6 seconds as we head into the middle sector. 5.8 now, 5.7. My word, Wayne is losing so much time, as I would think Striker is as well. 5.3, 5.1. My God. He's taking so much time out of him. 5 seconds now, 4.8. He's taken nearly 2 seconds a lap out of Wayne here. In fact, he has taken 2 seconds out of him. We're only halfway around the lap. Has Wayne got damage? No, this is purely on Scotty MT retires. Oh my God! Safety car! Safety car! Perfect timing! Absolutely perfect timing for Super Striker and Van Swain. Scotty MT, I think, has hit the wall on the entry to the back straight. That was where I saw his stricken Haas car. He is out of the race. We have a full course safety car. Super Striker is going to come into the pits. Van Swain is also going to come into the pits. Where are they going to come out? This could be huge. Where's Milan? He's coming down the back straight. He's also going to pit, as is Brad. I am surprised these guys are pitting. What is Calvin going to do? He's going to pit as well. Wowza. Wowza. Okay. Fresh hards for Striker and Wayne, as expected. Calvin goes on to fresh mediums. Could that be the play? Atmos and Brash as well. Fresh mediums. So we're going to get 2 laps under the safety car. They're going to do another 11 laps on mediums, plus a couple of laps behind the safety car. So the mediums will go to the end for sure. Of course, Striker and Wayne had no option. They had to go to the hards. They were on the mediums. They had to go onto the hard compound tyres. So obviously you have to run 2 different compounds in a dry weather race, which of course all these VDL Racing League races are dry. This is really interesting now. So who is locked in with this safety car? Definitely Striker, definitely Wayne. Milan can probably feel a little hard done by. And he says lucky bums in the chat. He's absolutely right, because he was nailed on to undercut both Super Striker and Famos Wayne. But as it is, he is also pitted. So the top 4 now, Super Striker, Famos Wayne, Milan, and Mr. P4 himself, all on brand new hard compound tyres. Then we have Kragnar. What a performance from Kragnar, by the way. He started P20. He's in 5th place. Kragnar is in 5th place. Unbelievable performance from him. Atmos, Calvin, and Ben Brash. P6, 7, and 8. Fresh medium tyres. They'll be looking after them on these laps behind the safety car for sure. Don't want to put any unnecessary wear through them. But let's say the safety car comes in at the end of the next lap. We're going to get 10 or 11 laps of racing. I think 11. Depends on how long it takes the back markers to catch up to the pack. So it's going to be 10 or 11 laps, which is doable on the mediums. Of course, I expected 10 laps on the mediums for the first stint. Striker and Wayne did more than that. So this is going to be interesting. Can Atmos, Calvin and Brash make use of the medium tyres, the faster tyres, and get some overtaking done? Don't know. I don't know. A lot of the overtaking around Vegas is done with the use of DRS. And of course, if you're in a train, that ultimately becomes really, really difficult. So, I don't know. After 4 or 5 laps, the hards will be the better tyre to be on. So let's keep an eye on it. We'll keep an eye on it. But we are going to run down through the order. I'm anticipating the safety car coming in this lap, unless Imi and Kevin don't catch the pack. So, Super Striker is in the lead, with Famos Wayne in P2, Milan P3, VDL Brad in P4, Kragnar P5, Atmos in P6, with Calvin in P7, Brash P8, Bergen in P9, Arman is way down in P10. Chaz P11, Hazard P12, Speechy P13 with Pro in P14. Mitch is up into 15th place with Imi 16th and Kevin in 17th. Arman in P10 is bad news. That is very bad news for Arman. His 2 title rivals are 3rd and 4th. And Arman is down in P10. So as things stand, Brad would take a healthy lead into the final race next week. Milan is also making up big points on Arman. The only downside for Milan is that Brad is right behind him, so he wouldn't be taking that many points out of Brad. So this is really good for Brad, as the safety car is going to go around for another lap. So we are going to get 10 racing laps, which is good news for those medium runners. Yeah, Arman really needs to find some pace, gain some positions, else he is going to be severely on the back foot next week for the season finale around Abu Dhabi, as all title deciders should be. Last race could be insane, says Frank. It absolutely could be. Frank, do some quick maths for me. If the guys finish where they are currently, Milan 3rd, Brad 4th, and Arman 10th, what is the state of play in the championship? I know that Brad will be in the lead. what would the state of play be behind him? I want gaps. I want order. Hit me up. Let me know. Put it in the chat. Would be cool if I could have had an as it stands graphic, wouldn't it? If it just sort of auto-updated on the stream. That would be cool. Unfortunately, it is probably above my technological knowledge to sort that out. But a nice idea nonetheless. As we head towards the back straight and into the final sector, I am anticipating the safety car in this lap message pop up now. It doesn't, of course. It may come up late. It may come up super late in this lap. As the game sometimes likes to do. Sometimes it is really, really late. Don't know why. Burnsy says Brad P5. No, P4. He is definitely P4, Burnsy. Safety car in this lap. There we go. A little bit later than I thought it would. But safety car is coming in at the end of this lap. So, Super Striker will slow the pace right down. What's going on here? Brad and Cracknard briefly swapping places. Super Striker slow the pace down and become the de facto safety car. And now it is totally on him. He decides when we go racing again. The safety car is now back in the pit lane. It is entirely in the hands of Super Striker. He's leaving it very late. And there he goes, foot to the floor. Has he caught Famasway napping? Possibly a little bit. He's already pulled out a half second. And Milan is looking very, very racy behind indeed. P3, he would love to make that into a P2. Overtakes going on further down the grid. Calvin has got past Atmos and goes up into P6. Brash has got past Bergen, who is going backwards. But he's going to go back alongside the Ferrari as we head towards turn 3. And Bergen very wisely backs out of that one and settles for P9. Armand watches it all unfold in P10. Currently, the Red Bull of Calvin up the outside, or the inside actually, of Kragnar. And Calvin is making moves. Has he repaired his front wing? Yes, he has repaired his front wing. So Calvin, he's got fresh tyres, he's got a fresh front wing, and he is making moves up into P5 now for Calvin. I think it may get a little bit harder for him here as Hazard drops down to P11. We have more yellow flags here. That is for Bergen, going very slowly in the Mercedes indeed. He drops all the way down to P17 behind his teammate Kevin in the sister Mercedes. As we head towards the final chicane then, lap 16. Look how much they cut that corner. You have to cut that corner, but you always run the risk of A, getting a corner cutting penalty, and B, just clipping the wall. And if you clip the wall there, it is race over. Did somebody find that out? No, he did not. So as things stand then, with Milan P3, Brad P4, Armour now up into P9 now though. So this is slightly out of date. Brad would be leading by 11 points and Milan on 167. More yellow flags. Who is that for? That I believe is the McLaren of Mitch. He's got no front wing. He's got a front wing. He's got half a front wing. He has hit the wall somewhere pretty heftily, I must say. So as it stands, roughly, Brad would be in the lead. Armand P2, Milan P3, separated by 17 points. So, my word, we could be in for a barnstorming finish to this season. Bergen's going very slowly indeed, as is Mitch off the track as well. The whole field in a McLaren sandwich. Super Striker leading the way with Mitch down in P17 and last currently. DRS is of course now enabled. Famas Rain will get that benefit of opening up his rear wing. Yes, he will. I forgot how far down the straight the DRS was. But he is too far back to be making a move this time around. Calvin, though, is not too far back. Neither is Brash, who goes past Kragnar. Atmos goes past Armand. There's overtakes galore. What's going on here? Brash is facing the wrong way. Brash has had a moment on entry to the final chicane. Possibly, did he have contact made with the Williams and Kragnar? Did Kragnar hit Brash as they made the entry into that chicane? That is why my golden rule is to not go through there side by side. But anyway, Brash has dropped down to P9. nightmare for him. Won last week, but currently on the fringes of the top 10 as we speak. This is looking pretty close here. Calvin having a good look at the Racing Bull of VDL. Brad Arman is making moves and he goes up into 7th place. Now, in front of him is Kragnar, his teammate. Is Kragnar aware that Arman behind him is in a title fight? Will he let Arman go by and hold up the guys behind? Hopefully, well, I mean, if you're Arman anyway, you're hoping to get past Kragnar and Kragnar slot in behind and hold up the guys behind. That is what he'll be hoping for. Is it what is going to happen in reality? We've not long to find out as we head down the back straight. Then Arman's going to get DRS. Kragnar is burning his battery. He wants to stay ahead of Arman here. This is interesting. Surely, as his teammate, he's got to let Arman go. Kragnar pulls to the left-hand side. Arman goes through. Brilliant work there from Kragnar. And he is indeed going to slot in behind his teammate. And now, is he going to throw the anchors out and hold everyone else up and allow Arman to drive off down the road? He moves up into P6. Calvin goes up the inside of Brad into the final corner and puts the Red Bull up into 4th place. Relegates Brad down to 5th. All of this is great news for Milan. Currently in P3, Frank is posting real-time updates to the championship standings in the chat. But there are overtakes happening all over the grid. It is impossible to keep track. Brad, 184. Arman, 181. Milan, 167. Milan really needs to get some overtakes done and try his absolute hardest to win this race. He needs to bring that gap down as much as he possibly can. Brad is now in unfamiliar territory, says Chaser. He is, he's P5. But those medium tyres on Calvin's Red Bull will go off towards the end of this race. So, opportunity is still there for Brad if he wants it. If he wants... Oh, Calvin gets an awful exit onto the back straight. That is going to put him on the back foot. And Calvin is going to drop out of DRS range. The detection line is there. And he is out of DRS. So here comes VDO Brad. Rear wing open. Down the right-hand side. And he overtakes the Red Bull. Up into 4th place. Just as Stance Jason said, Brad was in unfamiliar territory. He is back in very much familiar territory. And that is P4. Flight Risk Racing, thank you very much for tuning in for the very first time, my good sir. He said, I can't wait for next season to be a part of this league. Mate, we are super excited for next season. Super excited for next season. Obviously 2 divisions next season as well. 2 pace-based tiers. And we are so excited for that. Calvin has got the DRS on Brad, but holds off the Red Bull. Brad, super important for him. He needs to get himself to within 1 second of Milan in front, else he is going to lose that position once again. The guys in front all running in none. Oh, you're BDD. Right, okay. I watched your trial yesterday, actually. Looking forward to having you on the grid next season. Brad is now within the 1 second. In fact, he is right on the fringes of it. He needs to get within 1 second of Milan in front. Milan super close to the rear wing of Famas Wayne, who looked like he may have just clipped the wall onto the back straight there, but he gets a decent enough exit as it is. Here comes Milan then, burning his batteries in the slipstream of the Alpine of Famas Wayne. Rear wing now open. Not enough battery though to go for an overtake, and he is just starting to run out of laps. Brad did not get DRS down that back straight, so he has now got his work cut out if he is to end this streak of finishing P4 and get himself onto that podium. 1.1 seconds is the gap between himself and Milan. The catch couldn't continue, could it? Could it? Let's wait and see. Meanwhile, Arman looks nailed on for a P6. He's 4.5 seconds adrift of Calvin in P5. He has his teammate Kragnar behind him. Kane O'Connor 98, thank you very much for following the channel, my good sir. Appreciate you tuning in. It is a pleasure to have you here. Enjoy the last few laps of this race. We are in for a massive finish that could have huge ramifications on the title fight. This is the second last round, the final round next week. 3 drivers currently still in the fight, really. That is Milan, currently here in P3. VDL Brad, currently here in P4. And Armin Plays, currently here in P6. 5 seconds adrift now of Calvin in 5th place. So Armin looking like 6th is as good as it is going to get for him. Right then, onto the back straight. Brad has got himself to within the DRS of the Sauber of Milan, but he just does not have the battery power to catch the Sauber. Brad 184, Armin 181, Milan 167 are currently how the standings will look if they finish where they are currently. I feel like Armin is going to finish in P6. His points aren't going to change. If Brad can overtake Milan, that would be huge for him. Not only would it break his podium curse, or his P4 curse, I should say, but it would be a big points swing. Talking of point swing, extra point going to Calvin, and he's looking up the inside of VDO Brad into turn 1, and he's got the move done. Calvin moves up into P4, along with the fastest lap, the bonus point that comes with it. And I just said Brad would be hoping to overtake Milan, and within a breath, he's lost a position to Calvin. P5 for VDL Brad. We're going to need another live championship update from Frank in the chat, please, sir. Don't know how many points you lose from P4 to P5. The answer is 2. So currently, Brad would be on 182. Armin 181 with Milan on 167. That could change though, because Milan is very, very close to the rear wing of the Alpine of Famas Wayne. As we head onto the back straight, again, Wayne getting very, very close to the wall there on the exit. He's not got as much battery as Milan behind, but they are in a little bit of a DRS train. And I don't think we're going to see any overtakes this time around. Super Striker, I've not mentioned Super Striker for what feels like an eternity. But he is still leading this race. He started on pole position. He's led most of the race. Did lose the lead for a lap or 2 earlier on. But this is a pretty solid performance from Super Striker. Heading, I believe, to his first win here in VDL Racing. He goes, Wayne gets on the brakes slightly too late. That is going to give Milan the run on him. Contact between the two. Milan around the outside of turn 2. Has he got the grip and the traction? Yes, he does. Milan moves himself up into 2nd place. Unbelievable scenes. That is huge as far as the championship is concerned. Milan doing exactly what he needs to do right now. Can he catch Super Striker and win this race? It would be massive, absolutely massive for Milan if he could win. Huge opportunity here. He's got 2.5 laps to go. He's within the DRS of Super Striker in front. Oh my word, talk about pressure. Famas Wayne is there in P3 with Calvin in P4, Brad in P5. Armin now 6 seconds adrift of that leading 5. Are we going to see any overtakes on lap 23, or are they all going to save their battery? Calvin's not saving his battery. He's going for it. He's burning his battery. He's in the slipstream with Famas Wayne. They've both got next to no battery left, and they are going to hold station this time around. Milan will be absolutely desperate to catch that McLaren in front. He's got more battery. He has got more battery than Super Striker, but the bad news is he's only got 2 laps. 2 laps to try and overtake that McLaren. I've absolutely forgotten what is going on elsewhere in the grid. I'm really sorry, guys, but I need to stick with these top 5 because anything could happen on these final 2 laps. We're on lap 24 of 25, and here comes Calvin. He's having a good look at Famas Wayne. Down the DRS straight, he's going to go up the inside. Famas Wayne outbrakes him. Is he going to hold it around the outside? Does the Red Bull give him space? Yes, he does. But Calvin makes the overtake and moves himself up into the podium positions. P3 for him. But look at this. Milan is closing up on the McLaren of Super Striker as we head around the middle sector. Lap 24, he's half a second behind. He's got double the battery pack than Super Striker in front. Are we going to see Milan go for the overtake on this lap? Or does he wait and go for it on the final lap? You do it now, you run the risk of losing it again on the final lap of this race. Yellow flags in sector 1. That is for the McLaren of Mitch on the soft tyres, going very slowly indeed. Milan, look, he is not interested in going for the overtake. Super Striker's burning his battery. He's got no battery left at all. No battery left at all. Mitch has crashed at turn 3. He is out of this race on lap 24 of 25. Milan, this is all about tactics now. When does he go for the overtake? Is he going to do it on the first DRS or the last DRS? Super Striker has got next to no battery. This has got all the hallmarks of a last lap overtake and our first... Wow, I'm going to hold back on that line actually and wait and see what happens. But Super Striker running in none, 38% charge. Milan, 75%. He's closing up on Super Striker here. And if he stays close enough, this is going to be the easiest overtake of his life. BDL Brad is up into P4. Famas Wayne has dropped to P5. What has happened to Famas Wayne on these last few laps? I've missed what has happened to him. But he drops to P5 behind Brad, who is now back up into P4. I have no words. I have no words. But here we go then. How much battery has Super Striker got? It is 60%. Milan, 70%. Oh my word. When does he do it? Super Striker's charging his battery into the chicane, onto the back straight. Here we go then. This is the race right here. We're on the back straight. Super Striker's got a 6/10 of a second lead. Milan's burning his battery. Super Striker's burning his. Milan is going to get DRS. He opens the rear wing on that Sauber. Super Striker burns the last of his battery. Milan, does he go for it now? He's going to go down the inside on the McLaren. Pulls out of it at the last second, rides the curb. Super Striker stays in the lead, but he's got no battery. Can Milan get it to the line? He's in the slipstream of Striker, burning the last of his battery. Pulls to the right-hand side, around the final corner, contact between the two. Milan wins! Milan wins by 2 thousandths of a second. Milan wins the race. Look how close Calvin was as well. The top 3 split by half a tenth.
Goes Hamilton!
Oh my goodness. What an ending to this race. The top 3 split by half a tenth. You normally see those sorts of gaps in qualifying. Not at the end of a 25-lap race. Bloody hell. Oh my goodness. Oh my goodness. Oh my goodness. The VDL League just keeps on delivering. Wowza. There he is. Milan Speckberg on the top step of the podium. He becomes the first multi-race winner in the VDL Racing League. This is his, I think so. I think so. I think it's his second win, I think. Frank, please confirm. But yeah, Milan wins the race. Calvin gets the bonus point for fastest lap. Kragnar, driver of the day and the most overtakes. Milan also brings home the cleanest driver. This is how we finish then. Milan with a huge win. It's his first win. Oh my God. 8 races, 8 different race winners. Unbelievable. Milan, P1. Super Striker lost it on the final lap. P2 by 2 thousandths of a second. Calvin in P3 with the fastest lap. So bonus point for him. VDL Brad, P4, no words. Fabian Swain, P5, Armin, P6, Kragnar, P7, Brash, P8, Atmos, P9, with Speechy rounding out the top 10. Hazard finishes in 11th, Kevin in 12th, Chaz 13th, Bergen 14th, Imi 15th, Pro 16th, and Mitch, Scotty MT, Paris, and Imad all DNFing from the race. And breathe. Brad got P4 again, Burnsy. He did. He did. I'm out of breath. I am completely out of breath.